Hey, I'm up here looking like I'm lost like a mug, huh? It's because my screen is black, but y'all can see me. Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Shabbat shalom. What's happening? Y'all. Shalom, sis. What's going on? How you doing? Uziel, shalom. What's up, Buck? The House of Elkanah, shalom. Shalom to the fam over there. Make sure them feet get wiped. As the water. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. All right. I'm gonna give a couple more of the lollygaggers, man, a minute to come on in. They're probably still wiping their, eyes and trying to get themselves together. And we're gonna get busy after that. All right. How's everybody doing? If you're doing all right on the Shabbat, give me a seven in the chat. If I'm coming in clear, give me a seven in the chat. Just do something for me. Ashar Shalom, Mike. Shabbat Shalom, man. Hopefully you will. Like I'm gonna shoot you that the calendar dates tomorrow. All right. That goes for anybody else that is in need of the calendar dates for this year, 2022 to 2023. See the email at the bottom, the covenant144 at gmail.com. I'll advertise it again towards the end of the stream. If you're in need of calendar dates, a holy calendar, let me know. I'll send it to you. Email me, the covenant144 at gmail.com. I'll have the dates out for you. So you can stay in alignment and stay in season and stay in tune with the holy days of the Most High. All right. Um, Let me see here. Make sure everything is rolling. All right. Let me get back on my comments. See what's good. All right. All praises, honor and glory to the Most High. While Yahweh Shai, you've made it to Friday Night Lights. It's your brother Martha. I acquired first name. IQ is all the same. It's the Friday Night Lights edition. This is for the ones who don't mind staying up, the ones who don't mind taking a nap. It ain't even that late. Well, for me, I'm talking big stuff. It's 8 o'clock on my side. Some of y'all like my sister, huh? Yeah, she's out there. It's 11 o'clock and she's riding. See, that's what's up. The House of Elkanah. It's 11 o'clock out there. They still riding. You Negroes in the West Coast and Midwest. What's your excuse? I know there's a plethora of Israelites that you want to tune into, you want to listen and learn from. Hey, all praises to the Most High. I'm not a hater. It's all good. But if you decide that this is where you want to come and hang out at, hey, all praises, man. Let's see here. Namawan, the family. Hey, shalom. What's up, y'all? Hey, Abat decided to come on in. Two of them. They want to say shalom. Get the hell out of here. And nobody asked you if you was in the house. Okay? I thought I got another one. They coming in fast and furious. Jack Quincy, did I block you on accident? Hold on. Who's Jack Quincy? Was that a bot? I think I did. Oops. I don't know about no Jack Quincy. That don't sound nowhere near Hebrew. Don't sound nowhere near somebody in the truth. Jack Quincy sound like some damn old ass Edomite heathen. Detective Jack Quincy. Doesn't that sound about right? Shalak, what's good, my brother? Shalom. Shabbat shalom. Everybody all right? Everybody to, rev that engine and get started? I hope so. I hope so. All right. Let's get to it then. Let's get to it. Let me get this thing looking right. Okay. Share this way. And how about this? Is that coming through all right? All right, here we go. Here we go. All right. Hopefully everybody's doing well. We're gonna stay on this war thing. It's very important, very pertinent for Israel to constantly stay in tune with what's happening prophetically as it pertains to what's going on over there in Europe and Russia. So they've been trying to quell down the hype of the war. A lot of this propaganda that's been happening is been really telling. You know, um, and really trying to decipher which one of these devils is telling the truth and which one isn't. For all intents and purposes, we ride with the prophetic line of storyline that's going to deal with the wars and the rumors of wars. And we're going to see exactly where things is going. There's been multiple talks that's going on. Remember last Sabbath, Putin and Biden had an hour long conversation, last ditch effort to try to avert war. And when they left from that, nothing changed. Slow Biden, and the rest of his NATO affiliates said that actually Putin was ramping up, throwing more troops at the border, doing more exercises, and Putin is saying, no, that's not true. Yeah, we're running exercises. It's our land. We can do whatever we want to. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're going for war. So it's a lot of political posturing going on, but nonetheless, we're gonna really see through a number of different witnesses and stories of where this thing is headed to, man. So don't sleep. Don't sleep. Okay. U.S. says war appears imminent after shelling on Ukraine front lines. So what people don't what you guys are pretty well informed, but as you can see, there's already um what would you call it? There's already been engagements with warfare happening. Okay, bombs and bullets is already flying over there. Okay, they just haven't put it out there on a major scale to say, you know what, we're going full blown war. But there's already been some poking and prodding going on. All right. So let's look at this. U.S. President Joe Biden said on Thursday there was now every indication Russia was planning to invade the Ukraine in the next few days and was preparing a pretext to justify it after Ukrainian forces and pro Moscow rebels traded fire in the eastern Ukraine. Do you see that? They're already shooting. They're already shooting. They're trying to keep it under wraps. They're trying to not make it sound as if it's as bad as it's going to be. But bullets is already flying. Okay. Now you see Slow Biden saying that Russia needs a pretext to justify it. In other words, they need an excuse to up the ante and go full blown bombs, full blown air attacks, then coming in with the tanks and with the ground attacks. So they're saying right now the little pot shots is going back and forth is not enough to escalate and go into full blown war. So Slow Biden is saying it needs an excuse to go heavy handed. All right, so let's see what he's talking about. Look at this. Has Putin finally sprung his false flag operation? Car bomb rocks the Ukrainian separatist capital in an assassination attempt hours after a mass evacuation of 700,000 civilians was announced amid blaring air raid sirens and dire warnings of an attack on Kiev. So, where are we at now when we're talking about war? Is it on? Has bombs been dropped? Look, what are they're calling this a false flag. This is what Slow Biden is talking about when we're talking about the false flag. He needs a pretext. He needs a reason. Let's make sure everybody's up to speed on what a false flag is. All right. Let's look it up. We'll just look at this short little understanding out of Wikipedia. All right. A false flag. A false flag is an operation. A false flag operation is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning the blame on another party. So, in other words, they're saying that this particular bombing, Russia did it and is going to blame somebody else. It's no different than what America does and did with 9/11, with the Gulf of Tonkin when it came down to Vietnam. Um, Look, there's another. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it next. It just came to my mind. There's another thing called Operation Northwoods. And we'll look at that in a second. I don't want to, talk ahead of myself. So a false flag is an operation. A false flag operation is an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning the blame on another party. The term false flag originated in the 16th century as a purely figurative expression to mean, quote, a deliberate misrepresentation of someone's affiliation or motives. So, in other words, is when somebody throws stones and hides their hands. Look at this. Operation Northwoods. And they have the actual document that's down. Here it is. Okay. It's the actual document right here. Unclassified. Where is this from? Top secret special handling. This came out because of the Freedom of Information Act, March 13th, 1962. See. Justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. So, what were they trying to do? The Joint Chiefs of Staff have considered the attached memorandum for the Chief of Operations Cuba project, which responds to a request of that office for brief but precise description of pretext. Didn't we just see that? Which would provide justification for the U.S. military intervention into Cuba. Well, what type of pretext were they doing? What did they do? Hold on. Operation Northwoods was a proposed false flag operation against American citizens that originated within the U.S. Department of Defense of the United States government in 1962. Proposals called for the CIA operatives to both stage and actually commit acts of terrorism against American military. Did you hear that? Let me blow this up just in case you think I'm misreading this. So, is it beyond the spectrum of possibility that America will sabotage and kill their own as an act of war and then point the blame and said it was somebody else? It wasn't me. It was them. Remember, from my old school heads. From my old school heads. You remember the Warriors? Who's seen the Warriors? Put a 7 in the chat if you've seen the Warriors. There's too many bots in here. Hold on. I gotta get rid of some of these bots, man. They out of damn control in here. My old school heads. Who's seen the Warriors? Anybody seen the Warriors? Am I alone in this? I mean, good lord. I didn't see it in the theaters like some of y'all. I seen it later in life as a late teen. The movie The Warriors. Okay. Shaw done seen it. UZL done seen it. Keith, you done seen it. Okay. Now that was a false flag. When the Edomites, man, they killed Cyrus at the gang intervention. They had the big old gang meeting in the Bronx. Supposed to be a unity meeting. They were trying to unify all the gangs. And if I'm talking above your head, talking Chinese, just follow along with the story, okay? Y'all can always go back and watch The Warriors. But it's an old movie, man, from like the late 70s. Gang movie from New York. But nonetheless, there was a assassination that happened. And I would play the clip on here, but I don't want YouTube to flag the channel because they're going to say it's copyright. But nonetheless, there was a hold on. There was a assassin. There was a brother named Cyrus. He was the leader of all the gangs. He was the leader of one of the biggest gangs. I think they would call it Rifts. He was leading the whole little unification thing and whatnot. Man, the Edomite. I forgot what gang they came from, but the Edomite killed him for no reason. And once everybody was riled up, the Edomite said the Warriors did it. It was the Warriors. So they committed an assassination attempt. Well, not even an attempt. They assassinated a brother and they blamed somebody else. So that's the same thing that's going on with the false flag. I'm just trying to make it simplified. I'm sure everybody's following along. But we're seeing here how during Operation Northwoods, that America and the CIA actually had a plan to commit acts of terrorism against their own military and civilian targets, meaning casualties of war. Civilians could get put to death. And then they were going to blame it on the Cuban government, using it to justify a war against Cuba. See, the possibilities in the document included the possible assassination of Cuban immigrants, sinking boats of Cuban refugees on the high seas, hijacking planes. 9/11. Oh, let me be quiet. Hijacking planes to be shot down or given the appearance of being shot down, blowing up a U.S. ship, or orchestrating violent terrorism in U.S. cities. The proposals were rejected by JFK. So then you wonder why he got put to death. See, the whole conspiracy regarding his death. They always said, man, the stuff that they was coming with, bringing to him to sign as an executive order and all that, he was like, man, you guys is madmen. I can't do this. And they said, oh, you can't? Okay, no problem, John. We'll find somebody who can. And that was the end of him. So, that was just one thing. So this is the matter of the things that they was even talking about, even proposing to bring to the table. Look at this. Several other proposals were included with Operation Northwoods, including real or simulated actions against U.S. military and civilian targets. The operation recommended developing a communist Cuban terror campaign in the Miami area and other Florida cities and even in Washington, which involved the bombing of civilian targets themselves, which was to be blamed on the irresponsible Cuban government to paint a false image of Fidel Castro and misinform the American public. So, we see the so-called white man developing and establishing lies. You know, hold on. Let me see. It's in Psalms. No, it's not Job. I'm sorry. Shalaki. 73. Yeah, here we go. So look at this. Psalm 73 and 19. How are they brought into desolation as in a moment? It's showing you how the destructive ways of the so-called white man can be brought forth. And it says they are utterly consumed with terrors. I mean, he's constantly consumed with terrorism. He's constantly consumed with conspiracy. He's constantly consumed with death, murder, mayhem, destruction, or whatnot, false flags. This is all his operations. This is everything that he does in order to bring things to desolation, in order to bring destruction, in order to provoke war. These are all tactics that he uses. So now, getting back to this article, Slow Biden is saying that Russia is using and is going to use a false flag that Russia is going to sabotage themselves in order to provoke a war. They're going to say that this particular bombing, the Ukrainians did it, which is going to give Russia a reason to attack. And Russia is the one who really has nothing to gain out of this outside of creating creating peace within their borders. Because if the Ukraine is saying, "Look, we're rocking with NATO right now, and we're getting ready to open up our borders and allow NATO in here, and we know you don't like NATO and you don't like us, but we just up the ante, but we're trying to join NATO." Russia got no choice but to defend. And now Slow Biden is saying, well, they're looking for a reason to attack. So expect a provocation, expect a false flag, and boom, what do you know? Here comes a bomb. So the question is, has Putin finally sprung his false flag operation? A car bomb rocks a Ukrainian separatist capital in an assassination attempt hours after a mass evacuation of 700,000 civilians was announced amid blaring air raid sirens and dire warnings of an attack on Kiev. But listen, they already got the bombs going. I mean, the air raid siren bombs going off. They're evacuating 700,000 people. And we're still saying, is war going on? Is there war? World War III has already started. Newsflash. Newsflash: the pretext for war has already begun. It's at its infantile stages right now, but for all intents and purposes, it's already lit. See, explosion has rocked the city of Donetsk, eastern Ukraine, in what is feared to be a Russian false flag plot. Jeep belonging to the head of a Donbass security blew up close to headquarters of Donetsk separatist government. It came just an hour after separatist leaders ordered civilian evacuation due to threat of a Ukrainian invasion. Kiev categorically denied such plans, raising fears it is a Russian disinformation plot to justify an invasion. The Ukraine called on world leaders to condemn the provocation, warning of further escalation if it did not. Did you see that? So the Ukraine is already telling the rest of the world leaders, this is a provocation. We got bombed on. Help. We're going to have to further escalate if y'all don't come in and do something. So the pretext for war has already been lit. Bombs has already gone off. We just got through seeing that there is Ukrainian forces and pro-Moscow rebels trading fire. See, but mainstream news, they're not saying this. They're not bringing out the truth. They're not telling people, you know what? Hey, you better start waking up. You better start preparing, because the next thing that's going to happen, the economy is going to get hit. The power and the oil is going to get hit. Food has already been hit. See, but the nigga worried about the damn All-Star game this weekend. The niggas want to know who's going to be dunking and shooting 3-pointers for competition. The niggas and Hispanics are still out here hung over from the damn Super Bowl. Ram fans, you know, I mean, get real. If they don't have the distractions completely lined up, man, I mean, they're still doing goofy, silly, irrelevant stuff on the internet, on the social media pages, man. The constant distractions is full blown. Full blown. And they already got the algorithms and they got the bots and they got everything else. If you turn your eye, you blink one way away from anything that's relevant, they'll erase your whole history and have you looking at who knows what. That's how this whole thing goes. Let me double check, making sure no bots is up in here. Ashar, you said Germany did the same thing with Poland. Good point. Good point. My bad, y'all. I had the yeah, because if you look at it, man, all of the world wars started in Europe. World War One, all started in Europe. World War Two started in Europe. With Germany getting busy with Poland, and then that brought in the rest of the nations. America was kind of lollygagging and came in toward the latter end, but they were drug into it. America's going to do the same thing. That's why Slow Biden's already been talking about, oh, we're not going to the Ukraine. We're not going. The Negro is lying. I ain't gonna call him a Negro. The nigga is lying. He's doing what they call a white lie. Look, let me see. Isn't that a real thing? White lie. And then you wonder why they call it. Why is it called a white lie? What is a white lie? An often trivial diplomatic, or well-intentioned untruth. A deliberate untrue statement which does no harm or is intended to produce a favorable result. An unimportant lie, especially when told to be tactful or polite. See, but he's using it in this context of being diplomatic. Just to let you know, man, the white man's a devil. He even had to, name a falsehood and a deception after himself. You see that? So when he says we're not going to fight in the Ukraine, but yeah, we've got troops in Poland. Yeah, we got troops in Germany. Yeah, we got troops already over there in the aligning countries in NATO. So we're funding and we're giving weapons to the Ukrainians. By proxy, man, you already over there. Just because you don't have boots on the ground in the Ukraine right now with tanks and all of that doesn't mean that you're not going to be fighting that war. Didn't we just read the article last Sabbath where the Russians had to chase off a U.S. A U.S. naval ship trying to get close over there? And he's sitting back talking about we're not going to be fighting in that. So it's very similar, very similar. You know, the U.S. comes in late. U.S. comes in late. You know, it's a very old Edomite technique. Even Hitler set his own parliament building on fire just to go to war against his enemies. Any excuse, any reason. That hello, that's the truth. I mean, what did Nero do? Didn't Nero set Rome on fire and blame the Christians? I mean, these are age old techniques by the damn devil, man. He always does it. Look at this. This is what led to persecution. I mean, this is just very small headline. Nero burns Rome and blames it on the Christians. Emperor Nero was one of the most diabolical of Rome's 12 Caesars. He practiced Machiavellian rules 1400 years before Machiavelli wrote them. He used the absolute power he possessed to preserve himself at all costs. To Nero, the end always justify the means. That's the way the so-called white man. Look at this. July 1864 AD, the Great Fire of Rome. Nero blames the Christians, and then you wonder why 70 AD it was a wrap, and abomination and desolation hit, and our temple got destroyed, and we got excommunicated up out of Jerusalem. All based upon what? A false flag. And here we see America at it again, Russia at it again, Esau at it again, doing the same things. And you're absolutely right. Isn't that the Reichstag fire with Hitler? Oh no, yeah, here you go. I'm about to struggle trying to spell that mug. Uh, I think it was a fight. Yeah, see, that was it. The true story of the Reichstag fire and the Nazi rise to power. See, when the German parliamentary building went up in flames, Hitler harnessed the incident to seize power. Good point. See, we'll pull up them facts. We'll pull up that history here. I ain't gonna let it go. I'm gonna back y'all up. See, but that's Esau, man. So if we're looking at the pattern of works, we're looking at the pattern of what he does and how he gets down. Is it safe to say that we're pretty much going to see some warfare? I mean, it's already going down. Bullets are flying, bombs is already going off, and they're sitting back still trying to, tell the public nothing's going on here. These aren't the drones you're looking for. To quote Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. Let's move on. Ukrainian crisis. Kindergarten. Kindergarten hit by pro-Russian forces as Boris Johnson accused Moscow of a false flag operation. Now they saying a kindergarten got bombed. A children's nursery has allegedly been struck by pro-Russian forces in the eastern Ukraine. See, every time they're gonna say it's the Russians doing it to provoke a war. How do we know that NATO isn't doing this and then they're blaming the damn Russians? Does it really matter though? Huh? Does it really matter? No. As long as they get to it, right? As long as they get to it. Look at this. Kiev released images on Thursday morning of a badly damaged building with children's toys on the floor, surrounded by debris, following the alleged shelling of separatist forces in Stan, Stan, Stansia, Luhanska in eastern Ukraine. Once the kids get hit, once the kids get bombed, I mean, NATO's got to do something, right? America's got to do something, don't they? See, it's not enough when you already got pro rebel forces and the Ukrainian rebels trading shots back and forth. That wasn't enough. Okay, car bomb goes off in an assassination attempt. That wasn't enough. Oh, let's bomb some kids. Let's bomb a nursery with the kids. Will that get them going? Prime Minister Boris Johnson later claimed the attack on the kindergarten was a false flag operation designed to discredit the Ukrainians. We fear very much that This is a thing we will see more of over the next few days, he added. What didn't he just take a pit stop from his little European tour trying to clean up his mess over there so that he can have a talk with Putin? Didn't he say he wanted peace? Now he's jumping on the bandwagon of pro war. He's jumping on the bandwagon of propaganda, you know. So it's going down. Let's look at some more. US official, Russia adds 7,000 more troops near the Ukrainian border. So you're looking at all of this war going on. Let's look at the map. Let's just see what it's looking at. How about this one? So as of right now, see, all of this used to be all of Russia, right? Then when the USSR broke up, they broke off into independent nations. So all this is right here at the border. Russia's got all of this, and they got their troops lined up. Ukraine is here. US is this close. All they gotta do is cross over. They in. They caught them slipping, trying to, and Russia took this back over in 2014. This was part of the Ukraine. Russia took this back over. Russia pretty much is like, listen, we want all this back. And if you ain't gonna give it back, stay independent. And the Ukraine is saying, no, we're gonna join NATO so that NATO can have closer to home representation next to you. So here we see where they're at, right? And if you're looking at let's see, Meshach, let's say Magog. Mm, what's this one say? See, all this would be Russia up here. And then when you get down in here, you're looking at the Ukraine again. So this is all what you're seeing like in Ezekiel 38, 39, especially in Ezekiel 38, where it said that the Most High is going to sink the hooks into Meshach and Tubal and Magog. They're going to get drug into the war. They're going to get drug into this thing. Let me see. Oops. We're just going to touch on this just a little bit because I got a lot else to cover. All right, Ezekiel 38 and 1, it says, and the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So all of this area, you're talking about Russia, you're talking about the Ukraine, all of this area is considered the land of Magog initially and originally, okay? And it said, prophesy against him and say, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. So the chief prince of these areas, the separatist areas, would be Gog, Magog. Russia was in control of all of this, and now they've got separate, armed states. Verse 4, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. So they're going to get drug into, they're going to be submissive, they're going to get baited into. When you get hooks, just like when you go out fishing, you get them hooks on there and you get that hook on the line and you got to reel it in before you know, get that prey. Most High said he's doing the same thing. Russia is going to get drug into this war. They're going to get hooked in. They're going to get baited in. That's why you keep hearing about, oh, false flag this, false flag that. See, this is all the area up here. Let me see. Let me close this one out. Mm, this look like a half a decent one. I don't know about all this Antichrist BS. but at least a modern day representation of Russia, Meshach and Tubal. This will still be parts of Georgia, Russia, where you see the Ukraine now has been split off into, right. This they're all going to get drug into war. The Most High said he's going to throw the hooks into them. He's going to drag them in, and they're going to have to arm up and get ready for war. All right. So I'm gonna just leave y'all with that little jewel. That little jewel to kind of show and understand where we're at with this whole thing prophetically. Okay. So they're saying, oh, it's because of the false flags. The Ukraine needs a reason to go to war. They're the ones trying to provoke everything. And if we just got through seeing that because of Operation Northwoods or whatnot, the so-called white man is no stranger to, and America is no stranger to proposing to bomb, kill, their own. Even in our Operation Northwoods, man, they was talking about shooting up malls and all kind of stuff. We just read just a little bit, and then said, "Oh, it was the Cubans. The Cubans did it." So Russia's not falling for the okie doke. They ramped up even more troops since then, right? Let's look on. U.S. officials warn of imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine with tanks, fighter jets, and cyber attacks. Notice that the U.S. is the ones that's constantly putting out here, oh, it's an imminent attack coming, 48 hours. Oh, we've got inside information. We've got an anonymous source. Russia's not saying none of this. And next thing you know, here comes these quote unquote false flag attacks. In my estimation, I think that America and NATO is the ones pushing the issue for war. And Russia is going to have them hooks in their mouth. They're going to get baited in and they're going to get drug into this whole thing. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? You can leave a comment in the chat. Let me know what your analysis is on this. But we see it. It's on the check and see. Make sure there ain't no bots going. All right. But we see what's going on. Because listen, they're the ones, constantly putting out all of the propaganda headlines. You don't see Russia doing too much propaganda. Russia's talking about, well, we don't want to do it. Nobody's going to win. But if y'all come at us, we got nukes. Back up, leave us alone, mind your business. Are you going to hit us in the pockets? You're going to give us economic sanctions and all of that? Well, guess what? Germany is heavily reliant upon our oil for power and gas. We can shut that down. How you like that? Russia's just not backing down, but they're going to get baited into this. U.S. officials warn of imminent Russian invasion of Ukraine with tanks, fighter jets, and cyber attacks. Prospects of war appear dim, officials say, even as Biden administration works to arrange new talks with Russia. U.S. officials say they expect a Russian attack on the Ukraine in the next few days that could involve a broad combination of fighter jets, tanks, ballistic missiles, and cyber attacks, with the ultimate intention of rendering the country's leadership powerless. These officials said prospects for averting war now appear very dim. I'm going to read that one more time for the slow people in the back. These officials said prospects for averting war now appear very dim, while adding that the Biden administration will continue to try to keep an open window for diplomacy. Of course they will. But as long as you keep on bombing and doing this madness, there ain't going to be no diplomacy. Russia's going to have to act. They're going to have to do something. See? The official said Russian President Vladimir Putin has laid the groundwork in recent days through a series of false flag operations. Long predicted by the U.S. and allied officials, they intended to make it look as if the Ukraine has provoked Russia into a conflict, thus justifying the Russian invasion. And I very well believe that it's just the opposite. NATO was doing this. Ukraine don't even know that NATO was doing this. And they're telling NATO, it's the Russians, man. The Russians did that to you. Don't worry, we got your back. But we got to bait them in. We got to get them to war. See? Here's slow Biden. Every indication Russia is prepared to attack the Ukraine. Is another headline. Ukrainian rebels to evacuate civilians to Russia amid the crisis. So not only did all of the remember last week the EU told all their people get out. America, slow Biden told everybody get out. It's about to get lit. Now the Ukrainian rebels they're evacuating. and they're telling their civilians, get out. Separatists in eastern Ukraine announced Friday that they're evacuating civilians to Russia as spiking tensions in the region aggravated Western fears of a Russian invasion of Ukraine and a new war in Europe. How'd that play out? The first two times, you know, then again, World War One started in Europe. World War Two started in Europe. This third woe is going to start in the same area, and it's going to trickle down into the Valley of Jehoshaphat. Everybody's going to be involved. America's going to get hit. We're going to see how in a minute. Watch this. Uh, Look, it was the latest in the cascade of developments this week that have brought East and West relations to their lowest points in decades. U.S. and European officials focused on the estimate of 150,000 Russian troops posted around the Ukraine's borders fear the long simmering separatist conflict in the eastern Ukraine could provide the spark for a broader attack. Russia announced massive nuclear drills Friday to flex its military muscle, while the West sought ways to keep the peace. Did they really? The West is trying to keep the peace? Yeah, right. U.S. leaders issued their most dire warnings yet that Moscow could order an invasion on the Ukraine any day. U.S. leaders are trying to keep the West is trying to keep the peace. That's why they try to send a little spy boat over there that Russia had to chase up out of there. They did the same thing in the Gulf of Tonkin. I hope y'all were. I don't know if y'all checked that out. The lesson that I did about the John 8:44, the white man being the devil, and I pulled up one of his major lies that he committed, where the Gulf of Tonkin did the same thing. Let's try to read a little bit real quick. Uh, Oops, my bad. The Gulf of Tonkin incident. This is what started Vietnam, the Vietnam War. Also known as the USS Maddox incident, was an international confrontation that led the United States engaging more directly in the Vietnam War. It involved both a proven confrontation on August 2nd, 1964, carried out by North Vietnamese forces in response to covert operations in the coastal region of the Gulf, and a second claimed confrontation on August 4th, 1964. Uh, I want to see here. I want to read all of this crap. Let me see if it is. Uh, I wanted the History Channel to tell the truth. I don't want to detract y'all too long, but what bottom line? What happened was the American forces got too close. They went into not a non-authorized zone, and when the Vietnamese seen them, they started letting off on them. They ran. They came back and they said that they were fired on um, unprovoked. Look at this. After World War II, France reoccupied. Blah, 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 blah. Let me see real quick. Let me see this. Let's see. At this point, U.S. involvement in Vietnam remained largely in the background. Sound familiar? They're going to play the background with this whole conflict between the Ukraine and Russia and NATO. They're going to say, "Listen, we're here to be diplomatic and try to bring peace. We don't want to get our hands too dirty." Okay. Now it says, but in the pre-dawn hours of July 31st, 1964, U.S.-backed patrol boats shelled two North Vietnamese islands in the Gulf of Tonkin. After which the Matic headed to the area. As it cruised along on August 2nd, it found itself facing down three Soviet-built North Vietnamese torpedo boats that had come out to chase it away. The Matic fired first, issuing what the U.S. authorities describing as warning shots. Undeterred, the three boats continued approaching and opened it up with machine gun and torpedo fire of their own with the help of FA Crusader jets dispatched from a nearby aircraft carrier. The Maddox badly damaged at least one of the North Vietnamese boats while emerging completely unscathed except for a single bullet that lodged in the superstructure. Um, but y'all can check out the rest of this and just look up the truth about the Gulf of Tonkin. But America fired the first shot. They was out of bounds um, over in the Gulf of Tonkin. They blamed it on the Vietnamese. They said the Vietnamese shot first, and that's what drew them in, um, into the war. So that's why we look at the history, man. That's why we look at history to try to understand and see how things are going to play out. Let's see, Romans 15:4. Verse 4, Romans 15:4 says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. See, it's only through these scriptures, man, that we're going to have hope. We have to patiently wait, endure. Everything that we're seeing, everything that's unfolding, all the games, all the trickery, all the lies, all the deception, all of the political game, warfare that's going on and whatnot. You know, because everything that we've seen written aforetime is for our learning. So historically, we absorb and we take in things historically because guess what? The Most High doesn't need to change anything. There's nothing new under the sun. So if it what's the old saying? If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. I mean, if the white man keeps doing the same old things, then we got to know and say, hey, why would he change now? Why would he change tactics now? It's always worked for him. You know what I mean? So this is why we look at historical aspects of how wars was happening and what was going on because we'll see how this thing is playing out as well. Okay, so Ukrainian rebels they're getting up out of there as well, out of Russia or heading to Russia, right? Remember I told you about people that are all the nations are choosing sides right now, and Russia had to lean on Venezuela and say, "Hey, you owe us, right?" Didn't I pull up the article talking about Russian aid being sent to Venezuela? I don't remember. Yeah. Russia says military aid to Venezuela. They sent the money. Yeah, I did share this article. I remember now. Right. Uh, Now even during what was it? Dang, I want to say. Look at this. This is 2 years ago. What the heck is wrong with this thing? See that? No. See, they want me to subscribe. This is. You can see the headline right here. Plane loads of cash from Russia have been shipped to Venezuela. Plane loads of cash from Russia have been shipped to Venezuela. About 315 million of euros and greenbacks were transferred. Bills allow Venezuela to use hard currency to skirt sanctions. See, they got the sanctions from America and the IMF. They were shutting them down on business, and Russia said, "Hey, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'll send you some money, and you can pay me back later." You can pay me back later. Look at this. Russia threatens military deployment to Cuba and Venezuela. I didn't even add that in here. But remember, these are close by ally. I mean, these are allies of Russia that are in close proximity of America. Close proximity to America. Let's see. Mm, let me see if I can find a decent little map so we can see just how close. Because if Russia is saying, okay, the war is on, it's lit like that. All right. So guess what we got to do? We got to start strategizing and getting closer to our target areas. Here's Cuba right here. Now, if Russia is lining up a military strategies over here, how far do you think it's going to take for a bomb or a missile to hit Florida, Miami, Birmingham, Atlanta, Charlotte, Houston, right? Look how close that is. And now you got, well, Venezuela's a little bit lower. But let me see if I can get another one. But we see here how close he's moving to Cuba. That's why they were getting at Cuba during the Cold War back in the days because of their affiliation with Russia. Now America's back, gonna be back scared again. Let's see if I can find. No, I think I'm about to get a South America. I just want everybody to just kind of see visually how much closer America can get. See, here's Venezuela right here. That's Central America leading on up. You're gonna get up to Mexico and then America. Cuba's over here. So they're getting in closer proximity, and best believe they got bombs and they got weapons that's gonna reach America from here. Let alone, let alone, let alone. Look at this. Look how close Russia is to Alaska. Hmm. And then you wonder if America can be touched. Look how close they are. So they've got the ability to hit the north, west of America. They got the ability, when and if they, motivate and get these troops in place, the East Coast, and they can get the West through Venezuela. See how this is lining up? Venezuela's leader pledges military cooperation with Russia. So now they've made their choice. They're saying, hey, Russia said, remember that 315 million we sent you in euros? Yeah. It's payback time. Open up them borders. Because, we're going to need some help. Because it's about to get lit. Caracas, Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro pledged a, quote, powerful military cooperation. Uh-oh. With Russia following high level discussions between officials Wednesday, a day after diplomats from the U.S. and several other nations gathered to discuss steps toward a negotiated solution to South America's country's protracted crisis. We have reviewed the powerful military cooperation and have ratified the path of a powerful military cooperation between Russia and Venezuela for the defense of peace, of sovereignty, the defense of territorial integrity. Territorial integrity. Maduro said during a news conference, we are going to increase all the preparation, training, and cooperation plans with a military power in the world such as Russia. And see, that's the damn problem is you've got our people still brown nosing and kissing the ass of the so-called white man for approval. See, now they in debt. Now you got to pay him back. And now he's white zaddy all over again. Now He's going to drug in all of Central America, Venezuela. I mean South America, Venezuela, and they're going to get involved because they owe Russia now. Now he said he's going to do everything that the Russians tell him to do. We are going to increase all the preparation, training, and cooperation plans with a military power in the world such as Russia. See, they're holding their laurels, holding upon the foundations of Russia. Now they're feeling as though we've got the power of Russia behind us. The remarks came about a month after Maduro and Russian President Vladimir Putin spoke by phone about cooperation between their countries amid a talk of possible Russian troop deployment to Venezuela. Did you hear that? Troop deployment to Venezuela. Hmm. Define Ukrainian stage a flag waving day of unity and carry out practice airstrikes as they thumb their noses at Russian invasion's threat. As the West warns, there is, quote, no sign Putin is withdrawing his forces from the border. Remember that earlier in the week? They were saying, oh, Putin, he's pulling the troops back. He's withdrawing. There is no war. That's why I did the Hump Day Wednesday, 48 hours, no bombs. What's next? Ain't nothing changed. Nothing's changed. That was just, again, propaganda coming from the West to say they're putting timelines on it because they had to line up all of these damn false flags. So now that the false flags is in effect, now they can start saying, okay, boom, there should be a little bit more reality to what's happening. You know, uh, per- perfect. United States is going to initiate a cyber attack on itself and try to blame Russia. Of course, it's always Russia. It's always China. As long as they got that boogeyman lined up, man, they can do whatever they want. Man. We just got through reading. America don't care. They'll kill civilians. They'll kill their own military. Whatever it takes to get to the bottom line. That's the Machiavellian way. Just like it said in Nero, all the ends justify the means. When it comes down to let me be careful. The conspiracy of AIDS being a man-made created disease used to depopulate. Choose to believe it if you want. I do. Because guess what? When it first came out, like in the 80s, they were saying, "Oh, it was it's a homosexual disease. It's for the sodomites. Only they can get it." And then next thing you know, who's the leader? Who's the leading causes of death when it comes down to AIDS? Let's see. Let's see. According to the CDC, see that's why it's a uh what do you call it? They're like casualties of war when it comes down to the bottom line. So when Esau's mind, he's saying, "So what? We done killed off 100,000 sodomites. We didn't need them anyway. But the ultimate goal is if we can get 100 million so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, the job was done." Look, HIV by race and ethnicity. This is CDC. In the United States, HIV is spread mainly through backdoor or natural sex or by sharing drug use equipment with an infected person. Although these risk factors are the same for everyone, some racial ethnic groups are more affected than others. Oh, really? You don't say. Given the percentage of the population, this is because some population groups have higher rates of HIV in their communities. No kidding. Thus raising the risk of new infections with each sexual or drug use encounter. Additionally, a range of social, economic, and demographic factors such as stigma, discrimination, income, education, geographic region affect their risk for HIV. This section provides information on the prevention challenges uh, and what the CDC is doing to address them. So, HIV by race and ethnicity. Do you see where's Esau at? Do you see white man here? No, no, no. But you remember in the 80s when they said it was all about white homosexual men. Now they're not even part of the equation. Because guess what? The ultimate goal was we got who we was trying to get. Leave that alone real quick. Come on, where's the percentages at, man? Stop playing games. Getting and keeping undetectable viral love, sexual behaviors. 7% has sex without using AA. See, they ain't get. All I want is stats, man. Get out of here. But we see who they're counting: African Americans, American Indians, Asians, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Hawaiians, Pacific Islanders. You don't see no white men up there, though, do we? Let me see if I can. HIV.gov. What is the impact on HIV on racial ethnic minorities in the U.S.? As of 2019, so-called Negroes, 40% of AIDS cases as of 2019 were of so-called blacks, who make up only 13.4% of the population. So-called white man's at 28.5. Most of them is dope fiends and sodomites. So is that really a sacrifice that he's willing to make? Absolutely. Look, Hispanic and Latino, the next runner-up, 25%. Native Americans have 0.3%. The top big dogs, though, we see who he's getting at, right? So we see where the so-called white man is playing. It's all about sacrifice. So for him to destroy and kill and maim and murder in the name of progression, he's willing to do it. Definitely willing to do it. All right, so let's buzz through a couple more of these. Pentagon reveals Russian fighter jets buzzed U.S. spy planes as Pentagon insists there is no evidence Putin is retreating. Blinken says Moscow is pushing troops towards the Ukrainian border. On top of American diplomat says they're not bluffing. So, do we need any more proof? We're beyond 2 or 3 witnesses. Okay. Let's see what's going on in Canada. If y'all ain't been paying attention, you should have by now. You know, they've been having that whole trucker blockade and the trucker rebellion going on up there. They blocked off the bridge until Slow Biden stepped in and told Trudeau, you better start using your executive powers and free up that damn bridge because we got the Super Bowl happening this weekend. And damn straight he did. Brought out the police that Friday night, last Friday night. Brought out the police, told the truckers, man, get up out of here, open up that bridge. That one got opened up. They pushed everybody back into Canada. They still was over there protesting and marching. Now it's getting worldwide. They was getting ready to line one up over there in Paris. They were doing it all over the place, right? So now Canada essentially is damn near under martial law. Ottawa and other areas of Canada, man, the Prime Minister, this cat is he's drunk with power. He done lost his mind. See, Canada vid tensions surge as Trudeau declares the first emergency in 50 years. That emergency is pretty much martial law. Okay, calling the ongoing Canadian trucker jab protests a threat to democratic institutions. The government of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau took the unprecedented step of using emergency powers to stop the blockades. And who was that under orders from? Slow Biden told them to do that. Y'all remember I brought out the article last week. Slow Biden said, man, you better start using your governmental strength and power, man, and get that under control. I got my hands full over here in the Ukraine. Let's step it up. And we got the Super Bowl happening, so open up that damn bridge. Boom, did it. Trudeau announced on Monday he was invoking the Emergencies Act in response to the ongoing Freedom Convoy that began last month as a protest against new requirements that truckers get jabbed against the vid or face possible quarantine or testing. Since then, thousands of truckers have taken to Canada's highways, upending supply chains, choking major entry points to the U.S. and occupying a portion of the city of Ottawa. So he's invoked pretty much martial law, but he ain't stopped there. Look at this. Trudeau vows to freeze anti-mandate protesters' bank accounts. Take note, y'all. Take note. Don't get caught in that little whirlpool of saying, "Oh, that's too bad for Canada." Listen, all of the same characters is at play. They all went to the same school. They all go to the same frame of thoughts. They all holding conference calls, with each other, three-way calling and Zoom meetings and all of that. They're all using the same things, man. That's right now, more. They was willing to find them a year in jail, $100,000, taking their license, taking their trucks, taking everything. Now he's saying we're coming for your bank accounts too. Take note again. Because if he's willing, if they have governmental power to freeze bank accounts, no buying, no selling. Remember that? Do you have to have a chip in you for that to happen? That's just a question. You know. Oh my goodness. That's just a question. Didn't take one for them to do this. That lets you know, man, that the government can institute, if they say that there's a state of emergency, they can institute martial law and into which they can even freeze your bank accounts and stop you from having access to your money. Your money. That's what we're seeing right here. Look at this. Canadian Prime Minister. Remember, I covered the story last week. Uh, the mayor, I think he's the mayor or he's the governor, something like that. He enacted a freezing of the GoFundMe. It was like over $10 million, much of which came from Americans that was going to the the Freedom Convoy truckers funds because all of them was unemployed. They all out here pushing hard. And guess what? They set up the GoFundMe to help support their families and everything else. Canada stepped in and said, "Man, freeze that GoFundMe. No, y'all not getting that money. Matter of fact, we're going to take that money and we're going to give it back to who we want it to go to." So they can control the money at any particular point in time. That's why, we can't trust in the riches and all of that. We can't trust in any of these your digi coins and all. Listen, man, if Esau wants it, he's going to get it. He can come and get it anytime he wants to. He's freezing bank accounts, man. That's why there's always been a little rule of thumb that I learned young. Always have a little cash on hand. I know everybody ain't got it like that, but start thinking in your mind, I need to have something because guess what? When like Keith said, let it be a cyber attack go off and you can't get to your little ATM and you can't swipe that card and your chip don't work no more. Only thing that you got is whatever's in your wallet, whatever in your purse, whatever underneath your mattress. That's it. You got some cash, you got some pressure money. Hey, do that. It don't take much. Let's just say you stash 10 bucks, 10 bucks a week if you ain't got it like that. But keep something on the side because we see Esau that these are the tactics that he's going to use here as well. Let me turn this banner on. These are tactics he's going to use here as well. Okay? So we're seeing the executive powers that he's going to be able to use. So, as wisdom and as a little tidbit, I'm telling y'all, make sure you got a little cash on hand at home because uh, as many have probably already been victims of, or maybe it happened to you, where you had some identity theft. Somebody that hacked into your account, so stole something, and the bank got to freeze your accounts and say, "Hold on, we need to shut your account down until we can figure out what happened." And you saying, "Well, how am I supposed to get money? I need to get it." Well, sir, until we figure out if these charges are valid or not, or we can't give you access to it. And some people's banks is cool; they'll let you go into the branch, and you got to pull out all kinds of different forms of ID in order to get access to your money. That may work. But let's say you got a hard nosed bank who's not playing, or there's some sort of executive freeze on the account that they got word from the government saying, "Oh, he's on a watch list. She's on a watch list." Yeah, yeah. The niggas just be wearing them things and hanging off of their shirts and their dresses. Yeah, that hate group. Yeah, remember those black identity extremists? You're on a watch list. Shut their accounts down. Sorry, sir. This is a governmental hold. There's nothing we can do right now. And you scratching your head saying, "When did this happen?" Oh yeah, you're on a no-fly list too. When did this happen? Or what were you supposed to do? See, this is why you got to make sure that you're prepared on all fronts. So whether it's $20 a week, every time you get paid, you put an extra 50 under your mattress. Do what you need to do because, uh, as we see right here, this is what could happen. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has taken the unprecedented step of invoking the Emergencies Act to crack down on anti-jab mandate protests. Mr. Trudeau said the scope of the measures would be time limited, reasonable, and proportionate, and would not see the military deployed. With no need for court orders, banks, did you hear that? With no need for court orders, banks can freeze personal accounts of anyone linked with the protests. So they get names, dates, they doing facial recognition, all of the above. They're going through social media accounts, who's supporting, who's involved, who sent money. They get it all. That's why you got to be wise about utilizing the social media and putting your whole life on there and doing all this other madness and watching what you posting because it's all saved in the cloud and it all can come back to haunt you. And I'm not saying don't push the truth. The scriptures say, man, strive for the truth until death. I'm not saying that you don't stand. You just got to be careful and mindful and make sure that you're fact checking things that you post because a lot of jakes love to just post a quick meme that they get. Could be some bullshit. It's late night hype. I said it. Cover up your ears if you're sensitive. All right. But there's no telling if it's true or not. See? Now you gotta understand and say, well, oh, you posted this, you posted that, you shared this, you shared that. Fact check it first, make sure that it's solidified, then post it. Make sure because there's all kind of disinformation going on. Esau's even putting this crap out there, hoping that Jake shares some stuff that's gonna get you jammed up later on. So you gotta be wise. Because this is all things that they can do, they can line up and they can come for it. Okay? So no court order needed. Banks can freeze your personal accounts of anybody linked to the protest. Hundreds of demonstrators remain in Canada's capital city on Sunday. Law enforcement cleared anti-mandate protesters at the Ambassador Bridge in Windsor, a critical pathway for the Canada and U.S. trade after a week-long stalemate. What began as a rally against a new rule that all truckers must be jabbed to cross the U.S.-Canadian border, or U.S.-Canada border, or quarantine upon return has grown into a broader challenge to all vid health restrictions. So, look what just happened, though. Canada's major banks go offline in a mysterious hours-long outage. Oh, really? Here, the threat has already been shown that they were going to freeze accounts, and now all the banks go offline. This lets me know that they tried it. They went in and tried to see what would happen. What are people going to do? All the major banks over there froze up and went offline. People couldn't access their money out the ATMs. They couldn't go inside to the banks. All the computers is down. Everything else, cyber attacks as usual. But we're not saying this is a cyber attack. I'm saying that Canada deliberately did this because they're getting prepared to block and go offline with people's accounts. 5 major Canadian banks went offline for hours, blocking access to online and mobile banking as well as e-transfers for customers. The banks reportedly hit by the outage include Royal Bank of Canada, BMO, Scotiabank, and the Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. Online banking and e-transfer is down for many. Canada's 5 major banks went offline yesterday, impeding access to e-transfers, online and mobile banking services for many. Quote, we're currently experiencing technical issues. Really, with our online and mobile banking, as well as our phone systems. Oh, you can't even call and say what's going on. They shut everything off. Our experts are investigating and working to get this fixed as quickly as possible, but we have no ETA to provide at this time. We appreciate your patience. You prepared for that? See, as soon as we get to talking about that, here comes the bots. Get up out of here. See, that's what's going on. This is the pretext of what we have to see and what we have to look for, because this is just they tip their hand. They let you know the game plan, and they use the weaker nations and countries to do so. And then once it gets hit over here, you can't say, "Oh, I didn't know they could do that." What? Who said that was legal? Too damn late. Too damn late. You caught slipping. So, in my estimation, this was just a warning. We try to make sure we can access these accounts. You know what? Just shut everything down, and let's put the squeeze on everybody to let it be known. You want to support the truckers? You want to go out there on a freedom convoy? Well, this is what it's going to be like. We'll put everything offline. No, you can't access your online account. No, you can't do no mobile banking. No, you can't call us to find out what happened. See, that was just a warning to tell everybody this is what it's like if you want to see, I was about to say F. This is what it's going to be like if you want to mess around. See, that's the games that they're playing right now. High stakes. Ottawa's progressive police chief resigns after Trudeau's, quote, martial law declaration to combat freedom convoy. Hack reveals 42% of donations to truckers came from U.S.'s People's Convoy of 1,000 American protesters, says it's ready to roll in D.C. So now they're getting ready to line it up to go to D.C. We're seeing the police chief. He resigned once he seen the prime minister declare martial law. So now we're even seeing a divide even amongst those who's supposed to be sitting there being wards of the state and employees of the government and whatnot. They're choosing and they're saying, nope, I'm not with it. You tripping. Martial law, freezing bank accounts. You want us to arrest these people? No, I'm not doing that. This cat resigned. He said, I'm out. And now they're talking about 1,000 protesters getting ready to line up and go to D.C. Truckers ready to go. Look at this guy. Here he goes again. Frankenstein Fauci, fraud she, claims easing of the vid mandates by blue states has nothing to do with politics. Remember, we just talked about the midterms. We see all of this easing up. We see all of this, we're almost at the end of the road. The endemic is near. Oh, 70 plus percent people are immune to the okra now, all of a sudden. Did y'all hear about that? They're saying over 70% of the people now is immune to okra. The Omarion, whatever you want to call it. What is this? Let me see. Oh, okay. Just in case. More than 70% of the people in the U.S. are already immune to the okra variant. Wow, how things change in a matter of 30 days. See, estimated 73% of U.S. now immune to the okra. And they said that there was the boosters was ineffective. Remember all of that? Now all of a sudden everybody's immune. It ain't really affecting nobody. Maybe because flu season is dying down, huh? Oh, let me be quiet about that. Let me be quiet about that before somebody hears me and doesn't like what I'm saying. But y'all see the games. So he's saying it's not political that we're easing up. What's he say? They are only following the science. Really? Well, if we just seen 73% of this latest variant, everybody's immune to now. Virus cases are plunging 44% in 1 week. What sciences are you listening to? Because the mask mandates, all that is still going on. They're only telling people that's been jabbed you can take them off. What? Okay, let's see if he's following time. Kids are still in schools, wrapped up and masked up. But what's the science say? Children extremely low risk, confirmed by a study. Studies was done in the UK. Now, if you're following the science, and the science says that kids bear the lowest risk of infection, but they're the ones who's just got approved for 5 and under for the jabs. They already got the boosters prepared for what is it? Uh, I think the boosters are good for at least. I'm pretty sure the teenagers can get the boost. I don't know about 5 to 11 yet. I don't know if they're getting boosters, but he's saying he's following the science. But the kids are still wrapped up and masked up, still running on PE with mask on. I mean, give me a break. The study says what? The vid in children in England, 251 children were admitted to the ICU between March 20th and February 2021. 1 in 50,000. 1 in 50,000 has a chance of a child being admitted to an ICU. 25 children and young people have died as a result of the vid. 2 in a million absolute risk of death from the vid in children. So only 2 people out of every million of children have a chance of dying from the vid, right? But the science is saying the kids is at the most risk right now. They gotta mask up. They gotta roll up that sleeve. They gotta get jabbed up. And they're saying it's not political. I can't tell. We see contrary to the sciences right here, don't we? What about the sciences here? Uh Frankenstein Fauci? Huh? What about that? Hollywood hypocrites. The haves and the have nots. Look at this. Hosts and performers at the Oscars will not have to show proof of jab or wear masks while others in attendance will. See, this is when you start putting the they're putting out the scales right now. The elite, the accepted, the have-nots, the downtrodden and forgotten. And the Israelites, man, we're at the bottom of the barrel when it comes down to that. So here you just seen at the Super Bowl, they said that was supposed to be an indoor event. Everybody's supposed to be masked up, right? Nobody had no mask on at the Super Bowl. They caught the mayor slipping again with no mask on. As he was talking about, he was holding his breath. Remember that when he was posing with Magic? Let me see if Mayor Garcetti. They caught him slipping. Here you go. Look at him with a beer in his hand. No cares in the world. No mask on. What? He's not holding his breath. Didn't he say, "If it'll make you happy, I put a mask on." He don't even have it around his neck, mouth, nothing. You see these cats, they got it at least around their ears, hanging off the chin. These other old, heathen, they ain't got nothing on. You see how that works? Where's his mask at? Over here, he said, "At least you seen it in my hand. It let you know I had a mask." That was at the playoff game. Now you at the Super Bowl, you double down and said I ain't wearing a damn mask. But I thought we were following the science. See, but when the cameras are rolling, oh let me throw on my mask and talk through the microphone. Nobody's around me, but I'm gonna play this role. Look, this is LeBron at the game. Look at it. No, nobody was wearing no mask at that game. Look, but the kids got to be masked up. The unjab, we can't go nowhere without having a mask on. I mean, give me a goddamn break. Look at it. Justin Bieber and the rest of these damn heathen, uh, no mask on. They hanging out. Ain't nothing. It's all theater. It's all theater. So all the Hollywood hypocrites, all of them, they don't have to show no proof of jab. They don't have to wear no mask. But hey, but everybody else, we do, you do. Performers and presenters will not need to have had a vid jab in order to attend the Oscars, but they must undergo a PCR test. The ceremony will require everyone else attending to show proof of jab. I mean, this is ridiculous. A record 104,000 Americans died of drug overdose, include during a 12-month period between September 2020 to 2021, a 15% jump from the previous year. CDC reveals. So, what did lockdowns and quarantine do? What did it do? It killed 104,000 more people, huh? Look, what's that in Chirac? Chirac. Yeah, 33. Let me just read it. Let's look here. And let's look at 25 and down to 27. If thou set thy servant to labor, thou shalt find rest. But if thou let him go idle, he shall seek liberty. So, what happened during the quarantine months? What happened during the lockdown months? People was getting laid off. People were told they didn't have to work. People were encouraged to stay on ED because they was getting the extra $600. And I'm not hating. If you was able to collect and you got that money and all that, that's cool. And hopefully you was wise with your money and you did what you needed to do to support yourself and your family. And you know, you was wise enough to make that money double or triple. Like the talents. In you was trying to get the example about the parable about the talents. Hopefully you was able to do that. But if not, we see the lesson learned. If thou set thy servant to labor, he's going to find rest. Thou shalt find rest. But if thou let him go idle, he shall seek liberty. So now that's why you see all these people now, they not trying to work no more. You know, they quitting their jobs on the spot. They trying to find easier ways. EDD hustles, PPP loan hustles. You know, they're all over all the Reddit boards and the YouTube channels trying to get any information they can about stocks and crypto, trying to get money that way. Nobody trying to go back. They're all becoming internet influencers and YouTube channels trying to hustle and get money off of the internet. That's what happens. But look, a yoke and a collar do bow the neck. So are tortures and torments for an evil servant. Verse 27: Send him to labor that he be not idle, for idleness teacheth much evil. And that's what we see here, because you know what they say? During that quarantine, divorces was up, overdoses and drug uses was up, suicides was up, depression, all that other stuff. Everything was up. People lost their businesses, people lost their jobs, the income shrunk, people sitting at home twiddling their thumbs. What else they got to do? They got weed delivery services now. People just sliding through, dropping off the lean and the pills and everything else. I mean, you didn't have to go out there. Obesity went up. You ain't got to leave. You didn't have to leave out the house, man. People's gonna deliver the food for you. Grubhub, Uber Eats, and what's the other ones? You name it. All you got to do is go on the app, press the button, and you can get your drugs delivered to you. You can get your food delivered to you. You can get your liquor delivered to you. And now 104,000 people died because of drug overdoses. And America's response is, well, let's give them safe drug zones. Slow Biden says, let's give them I ain't gonna say free crack pipes because they took that out. But you know what his answer is? Hey, keep it up. Stay doped up. I'll even give you a place where you can go shoot up clean. You can test your fentanyl. We can make sure everything's good for you. And we've got emergency services standing by just in case you overdose. I mean, does that make sense? And I wonder how many of this 104,000 died of drug overdoses were counted as vid deaths. You know how that goes. They never gonna let that go to waste. If they can monopolize that number, they're gonna throw that in there. There you go now, more Postmates, DoorDash, Uber Eats, all of them. And that's exactly what they're utilizing. Oh, Mr. Bot, here we go. Yeah, exactly. Midterm elections. That's it. All the variants died. They'll be back though. You know, once the Democrats try to secure the seat again, but they ain't. It's not looking good. But now I made mention about this. Think Man of Monday and brought out Hosea, where the scriptures say, "Because there's no truth, nor mercy, no knowledge of God in the land." And I made mention about you know no mercy being shown, and how many cases there are of so-called blacks and Hispanics being locked up for crimes they didn't commit, serving decades upon decades unjustly. And I didn't have this article. This article came out. I found this the next day, just in the spirit, and I had to bring this out because look at this. Louisiana man is freed after 44 years. Can you imagine? You know how many Negroes and Hispanics don't even live to see 44? That's older than a lot of us. That's um a massive amount of time to spend locked up, especially in Louisiana. That chain gang down there, man, Louisiana, and what's the name of that jail down there? Damn, it's right on the tip of my tongue too. Oh, I can't think of it, but it's one of the uh, worst prisons. Angola, one of the worst prisons in the country, let alone the damn near the world. Right? Look at this. Louisiana man is freed after 44 years for raping 14-year-old twins. After the judge rules he had an alibi. Victim still insists he was guilty despite no physical evidence. And did you hear? The victim say he was the one with no physical evidence and a medical report ruling one of them was still a virgin. What? Hold on. You don't be saying what? The elder played that? Yes, I did. It was fitting. It was fitting. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play it again. Okay. The man spent 44 years of his life locked up wrongly. And these two white hoes, I'm calling them for what they are, man. Look, all right. Some of y'all might have been offended. Some of y'all might have been offended. Guess what? I don't give a damn. Because scriptures say that a shameless woman will be counted as a dog. And if you put two and two together, well, a female dog is what? The female dog is what? Huh? Sirach 26:25. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog, but she that is shamefaced will fear the Lord. Them two white hoes, they not shamefaced. These are shameless white. You know what? Hold on. Back it up. One more short. We ain't done with them yet. We ain't done with him yet. What you say? Okay. That's a shameless woman. She is a. I wish I could say it like short. I wish I could say it like short. Okay. These two broads, man, are sitting up here talking about he's still guilty, no physical evidence, and one of them was still a virgin. How you saying you got raped and you saying you a victim and you was still a damn virgin? There was no evidence. 44 years of this man's life got erased. He can't get them years back at all. Vincent Simmons, a black Louisiana man accused of raping two white women in 1977, has been freed after 44 years in prison when a judge ruled he didn't receive a fair trial in 1977. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? And Shaq, I know you got that the scripture of Zechariah on deck. But I mean, good lord. Uh, hold on. No, I got this one already here. Proverbs 21:3. This is why the so-called white man's got to be dethroned. He got to get up out of here, man. Proverbs 21:3. To do justice and judgment is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. Most High said, man, when you do justice and judgment, that's acceptable to the Most High. The so-called white man refuses to do justice and judgment. That's why he can't be accepted by the Most High. That's why he's got to be destroyed. That's why this whole systematic oppression that he's got lined up, man, has got to be dethroned. He's got to get out of here. He's unacceptable to the Lord. He can't do right justice. Case in point. What's the chick's name? Potter. Potter. Kim. Did y'all hear about this one? Kim Potter, officer that killed Dante Wright. Edomite cop killed him, right? They're getting ready to protest and start looting up there. Why? Another cop killed a brother. She gets sentenced though, right? To 2 years. She's found guilty on 2 counts. Get out of here. 2 counts of manslaughter. Where's the look at this. Kim Potter sentencing ex-cop who killed Dante Wright. 16 months behind bars, man. That brother's family never gonna see him again. Mama's never gonna see him again. And she's gonna be she's out in a year and a half. Less than a year and a half. A year and 12 months. I mean a year and 4 months. Shalakia. A year and 4 months, man, is what that brother's life was worth. And look who gave it to. Little Michael Jackson looking gook over here, man. They Confederate. 16 months, man. Look at this. Ex Minnesota officer Kim Porter was hit with 16 months behind bars for killing Dante Wright after mistaking her gun for a taser during a traffic stop, a punishment significantly below the reduced minimum. I love that. This is. Can you imagine? What did they do to Oscar Grant up in the Fruitvale station? Same thing. Oops, it wasn't my taser. It was my gun. Shot him in the back. Same thing. 16 months, man. They had recommended what was it? Um I think they recommended like 59 months or something like that. And they took that recommendation off and said, "Yeah, give him 16 months." And she's out. They gave her 2 years. They said she can do 16 months and the other 4 months she's going to do under house arrest. Can you imagine? And here we are. Here we are, still begging, crying, and trying to fight for some equal rights, man. There's no justice going on at all, at all. So this brother do 44 years for a crime he had nothing to do with, didn't commit at all. These two lying ass broads over here, still to this day talking about he did it, and one of them, no evidence, was a straight up virgin, and you say you got raped. This is all I got to call them. All right, enough of that. And then meanwhile, white cop kills another brother, man, gets 16 months. And she'll get another job, book deal, and everything else coming after. Look at Slow Biden's son, the Bidenite, the crackhead, Hunter Biden. He's on the ropes. That's what I'm saying, man. The Slow Biden family, man, these are these crime lords, white collar crime lords. Son was on smoking, I showed you the pictures of him with the crack pipe hanging out his mouth when he fell asleep. I played you the video where he was talking about him and Trump was on his head. He was talking about my son, Hunter. He had a drug problem and he overcame it. And remember that? So how's he gonna explain this? Hunter on the ropes, Biden's baby mama, looting rob. See, he's just like a nigga, smoking crack, baby mama drama and the whole nine. Typical nigga. Here you go. And this is the president's son. Biden's baby mama, Luden Roberts, testifies before a federal grand jury investigating his murky finances and business deals with China in top secret 3-year probe. Isn't that what Trump was bringing out? Where he was talking about, what about 100? And he made millions of dollars off of that. And he said, and Slow Biden lied and said that was disproven, that was discredited. Let me add, hold on. Let's see if y'all remember. Do I still got that on here? Let me see. Yeah, here it go.
Was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot. And
he's a damn loser. Okay, I'm gonna let Trump get on him.
The people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking about Hunter? Are you talking about Hunter?
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. Once you became vice president, he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow.
That is simply not.
You heard? He said Ukraine and China, he made millions. And Slow Biden said that's not true. It's not true. What is this? I don't know if y'all can see that. I might be sharing it wrong. Hold on. We'll get back to that, to the article. Hold on. Let me get rid of this bot.
Other places.
True.
He
my
made
son,
a fortune.
Gentlemen, spent a year there.
My son.
He got the Bronze Star. He got the Conspicuous Service Medal. He was not a loser. He was a patriot, and the people left behind there were heroes.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking about Hunter? Are you talking about Hunter?
I'm talking about my son, Bo Biden. You're talking about.
I don't know Bo. I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He wasn't dishonorably.
Cocaine use. And he didn't have a job until you became vice president. Once you became vice president, he made a fortune in Ukraine, in China, in Moscow, and various other places.
True.
He made a fortune.
My son.
And he didn't have a job.
My son, like a lot of people we know at home, had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why was he given tens of millions of dollars?
But he wasn't given tens of millions of dollars. That is totally discredited.
We've already been
totally discredited.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
Well. So Slow Biden lied and said that's been totally disproven, but he's been under a 3-year probe. And Trump just said he got millions of dollars from China. And now his baby mama's about to go on the stand and testify against him. Uh-oh. Luton Roberts gave evidence at a federal courthouse in Slow Biden's home state of Delaware for several hours on Tuesday morning. Details of grand jury testimony remain secret, and the single mom declined to speak about the case with the DailyMail.com reporter as she left. Roberts, 30, was subpoenaed to give evidence in the Department of Justice's secretive 3-year probe into Hunter's murky financial affairs. Roberts spent more than a year working in at Hunter's investment firm. She shares a child with Hunter, 3-year-old Navy Joan, who he refuses to publicly acknowledge. If that ain't a nigga for you, that is a typical nigga. Baby mama, scheming to get paid, refuses to acknowledge his son. I know there's a camp out there that's going to say he's Israel. They'll remain anonymous. Oh, my goodness. Here we go. All right. Let's talk a little finance real quick, y'all. So, Turkey, they're looking to back up their economy with gold. Why is there such a rush on everybody going towards precious metals? We've seen China doing it. We see Russia hoarding gold. Now we see we're seeing Turkey trying to get to the gold because they're going to collapse the dollar. They're going to destroy all economies. We know that that's happening. Cashless society, build back better, the Great Reset, all of that other stuff, right? Looking at different methods of how you can try to sustain yourself. Everybody's got to do what they got to do. Research, figure out what you need to do for yourselves. Everything is going to go towards the digital space. The crypto, all of that. That's going to be one of the main methods of payments, going on. But it ain't going to be what everybody's looking at right now. Esau is going to come in and regulate all of that. These freedom coins, everybody talking about, oh, these are how you break free from the economy, and it's non-regulated, and the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and what's the other ones? Dogecoin and what's the other one they was running around with for a hot minute? Why can't I think of it? It's right on tip of my tongue. Well, whatever. I can't think of it right now. But look where things are going towards. Precious metals is where everybody's going back to back up their finances with hard currency you can hold, touch, feel, and establish value with. All right. So Turkey finance minister to announce gold saving scheme on weekend sources. Turkey will announce a new scheme on the weekend to encourage households to convert their gold holdings into liras. So they want people to convert any gold that they have into their economy so they can get the gold. Like leprechauns. Finance Minister Narendra Nabati told investors in London on Tuesday. Two investors who attended meetings with Nabati in London said the minister had told them about the plans to ensure part of the 250 to 350 billion worth of gold held by Turkish households would find its way into domestic savings system. So you see, a lot of the people in Turkey is they're holding on to gold. They're trying to get the government is trying to get them to cash it in, so they can have it. They'll make an announcement this weekend how to convince people to let go of their gold holdings. It is a huge amount in Turkey, said an investor. They want this gold to come back into the banking system. This will certainly help to broaden the monetary base in terms of the Turkish lira. So Turkey's trying to back up their economy by gold now. Gold gains as weaker dollar. Ukraine tensions boost appeal. So the dollar's dipping. The inflation on the dollar is being heavily affected because of the war and everything else that's going on, right? Now we're seeing precious metals going up. So at this particular point in time, if you ain't got no gold, It's unless you got some good change in your pockets. Gold is already at $1,800 an ounce. I think the last I looked earlier today, it was almost at $1,900 an ounce. It's a little late to get into gold. You might want to try some silver, unless you already got, like I said, you got the money to spend. Do it. But what harm can it have? What harm can it do to have the metal that's going to back a lot of different economies that you can use for barter trade and actual intense value? That's why you see all them little pawn shops we talking about. We'll buy your gold because there's still value in gold. But that's for another time. I'm no economist. I don't know nothing. I just look, study, read, and I look and say, "Oh, is that's where everybody going? That's where it looks like might be okay. Let me investigate." But we do see and know that the dollar is getting less and less powerful. Crypto and precious metals is what's going up. Case in point, look at this. 2 reasons Americans just dove into credit card debt faster than they have in 22 years. So people's credit card debt is now increased immensely over the last 22 years. People are living off of their credit cards, you know, getting one credit card to pay off another card to pay off another card. I remember when I first went to college, uh, and I'll never forget this, Jake. Professor Johnny Scott, he was from the Georgetown Projects in Watts. And he had the first class that he ever taught us was not to get caught in a credit card trap, because on campus they had credit card tents set up all over the place. American Express, Discover, MasterCard, Visa, and here we are, 18 years old, don't know nothing about uh, credit. And here are these companies talking about, hey, you want a credit card? You want a credit card? Yeah, this one you can get $300 limit, $500 limit, so forth and so on. So, Jake don't know nothing about that. So here it is. They're coming in talking about giving you, in our minds, free money. You in college, Jake ain't got no damn jobs. But here they are telling you, we'll give you this money. So Professor Johnny Scott gave us all fair warning. He said, listen, black folks, man, y'all don't know nothing about this credit, how it can impact your lives in the future. Don't do it. He said they ain't seen so many people drop out of school because they got in too much debt. They go off maxing out these credit cards. They're buying the clothes. They're buying jewelry. They going to the clubs. They're buying drinks. They doing they putting down payments on cars and end up ruining their whole life, because even outside of the credit, Jake was in there. Student loans too. So now you had two forms of debt that was going to ruin your damn life, and you end up dropping out of school and you ain't finishing. Well, I seen it happen. Uh, I would. I ain't gonna say immediately. I wasn't an immediate victim of it. I fell victim of it later on in life. But and I didn't drop out of school because of that. When I got in the truth, once I gave him the truth, that's when I dropped out. But we're seeing the cycle and how that continues. Because look, they just got through saying this past Christmas, uh, I think they said most households have put themselves in debt over $1,000. Let me confirm that with you. Let me confirm that for you. Dang, I can't spell. Uh, dang, where was that headline at? I don't know if this is the one, but there was one. I think they said people spent down there $1,800 in debt. Yeah, almost. There you go. The vid pandemic continues on, and economic fallout continues to build. Christmas spending is still expected to be high. The National Retail Federation found that in 2021, consumers will spend an average of $9,997, on gifts and other Folly Day items, which is $1,000 before taxes. That's just going into debt, keeping a damn Folly Day that has nothing to do with us. See how glorious the Most High is, man. When you don't follow after the ways of the damn heathen, man. Jay could have saved $1,000. They'd rather go into debt. That's just on average. So, getting back to the point, two reasons Americans just dove into credit card debt faster than they have in 22 years. Americans' credit card balances spiked $52 billion in the last 3 months of 2021. Inflation is partially responsible, raising the cost of food and gas. Americans have been swiping their credit cards at a record speed in the last few months as rising inflation eats into the savings people accumulated during the pandemic. See, all that pandemic money is slowly but surely leaking out of people's pockets. Inflation is going to eat all of that up, the credit cards, and and then, once you get a nice little credit score, you've been using one. Next, you got 5 different other advertisements in the mail. Oh, Discover wants you, MasterCard wants you, Visa wants you. You know, you feel so needed, and then because you're using that one Visa card. Oh, they didn't increase your limit. More temptation to spend. See, that's how America wants everybody in complete debt because at the end of the day, we all become debt slaves. As long as you owe him, he'll never be broke. And at any time, he can push the button and just ruin everybody's life and just say, well, forget it. You can't pay me back. I'll just destroy you. Now your credit is going to affect where you live, what kind of car you drive, if you can get a job or not. All of that. The total U.S. household debt hit 15.8 trillion, following the footsteps of America. America's 30 trillion in debt, and they got the nerve to talk about you because you got, you $500, $600 in credit debt, $1,000. Let's even up the ante, $2,000 in credit debt. He got 30 trillion. He got the nerve to talk about us. U.S. total household debt hit 15.8 trillion in the fourth quarter of 2021. The New York Fed reported this week seeing an increase of 333 billion from the previous quarter. Credit card balances alone hit 860 billion, up to 52 billion at that same time frame. That's the largest quarterly increase the Fed has seen in the last 22 years. It's been collecting data. The researchers say, adding that the surge in debt overall has driven by home and car purchases. See. Despite rising wages, 61% of Americans are still living paycheck to paycheck. So we're seeing not only a collapse in the economy, we're seeing it being affected by people's households. You seen what happened when the pandemic hit and they had to open up them food banks. The food banks was running out of food. People was lined up for miles waiting to get a little basket of food and goodies from the oppressor. See what he's lining everybody up for. Yeah, everybody thinking everything was all good. Oh, we getting this PPP, we're getting these loans, we're getting all this little money, scheming and scamming, and he's gonna come back and get it all. He's gonna break everybody if you're not wise. So, and I said this years ago when they was proposing under Obama, talking about they was gonna raise minimum wage up to $15 an hour and all of that other madness. And at the time, I think minimum wage is like $10. And people was talking about, yeah, Obama. I said by the time that kicks in 2018, the cost of living is going to still balance out to where $15 an hour is still going to be like you're making $10 an hour. I mean, people did not see through that. And so far, here we go. Despite raising wages, even though people is making more per hour, the cost of living has not changed. Actually, it's gotten worse. 61% of people are living paycheck to paycheck, can't get no savings, can't do nothing. That's when everybody becomes complete debt slaves to America. Especially Negroes and Hispanics. The economy is recovering, but workers are still having a hard time making ends meet. While real wages are on the rise, they can't keep up with the increased cost of living, which is growing at the fastest annual pace in about 4 decades. Over the past year, inflation eroded by 1.7%, according to the U.S. Department of Labor. So, look, the increased cost of living is not matching up to what the wages are that people are making. So, as much as they talking about, look, the Democrats talking about how much they are helping people and putting more money in their pocket. No, they're not. That's all game. As a little young cat say, that's cap. Look at it. Oh, here comes $7 gas prices. Warns oil strategists in dire outlook. Is on the way. Matter of fact, man, hold on. You know what? Aladad Shalaki. Aladad sent me um a picture. He got people's out in Belize, right? Sent me a picture of the gas prices in Belize. You wouldn't believe it. I don't know if y'all can see this. Let me. Y'all gonna think I'm BSing. Hold up. Let me single this out. Oh, yeah, you can't see because of that damn background. Look at this. Diesel in Belize, $11.75 a gallon. Regular, $12.47. Premium, $13.52 in Belize. $11.75 for diesel, $12.47 for regular unleaded, $13.52 for premium gas. That's what's going on overseas in Belize. And here we are talking about $7 gas is coming. Because once that war kicks off, this is what's going to end up impacting as well. Gas prices are coming off their 7th straight weekly advance. According to the data from Gas Buddy, the national average is up 16.5 cents per gallon a month ago and 97.2 cents a gallon from a year ago. The average price nationally for gas currently stands at $3.47. So gas is going to continually go up. I shared with y'all a while back the cost of gas in different countries. It's outrageous. They're only saying it's going to get worse. So some strategists are saying $7 gas could quite possibly be on the way here in America. All right, don't be surprised. Look at it. Migrants are sewing their mouth shut in the quest for Mexico passage to the U.S. border. These are people coming from Guatemala, El Salvador, whatnot, man. They sewing their mouths as a form of protest at the border of Mexico because Mexico won't allow them in to pass through to get to America. This is how desperate our people are to get to America, man. It's unbelievable. These pictures don't even do justice. But if you see it, I don't even want to post it because it just looks ridiculous and it looks sick. But in the form of protest, they're sewing the sides of their mouths until Mexico lets them in so that they can get to America. How desperate is that? The dream that America is selling for our people to get on over there. Facial recognition firm Clearview AI tells investors it's seeking a massive expansion beyond law enforcement. I mean, this is the so-called white man again. Hold on, my bad, y'all. I thought I was sharing. I wasn't sharing. My bad. Here they are right here. I don't know if y'all seen that. So here comes $7 gas prices, right? Migrants are sewing their mouths shut, trying to get to America. They're protesting down there because they're at the border of Mexico, between Central America and Mexico. Mexico ain't letting them through. They've been down there for months. Their last ditch effort is to sew their mouth shut as a form of protest until Mexico lets them in, so that they can get through to America. I mean, they just willing to sacrifice themselves and do whatever it takes to get to Babylon. They want to sip the wine of the wrath of the fornication. They want a little taste of the poison. They want to lay down with the whore, and they're willing to brutalize themselves in order to do it. You know what? I said I wasn't going to show the picture. I got to show you. I gotta show you because it's complete madness. And then I did forget one other story too. I didn't put it on here, but while I'm looking, I put it on here. See, look at it. They're using plastic, some sort of plastic with needles, sewing their mouth shut. Look at this cat. Sewing his lips shut in a form of protest, man. Trying to get to America. Hunger strikes. Look at his sister. Complete folly. All trying to get to Babylon. Unbelievable. Look at this real quick. And this shows you too. Uh you seen it, we keep talking about cyber attacks, bank freezes. Trinidad and Tobago, man, they went, the whole country was out without power yesterday. I mean, excuse me, Wednesday. 12 hours. Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Company apologizes for a major blackout. Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission on Wednesday apologized for a major blackout, saying the cause is unknown. Unknown. 12 hours. Oh, is that all? That's all they're gonna say. But I forgot to make mention of that, man. Shout out to my brother Shemai. He was sending me little updates down there. After 12-hour blackout, Trinidadians wonder if their power supply is a shot in the dark. See, and they had the same thing happen over in where was it in the Middle East? Lebanon had a whole blackout. Whole country was out of power. I mean, look, this is why we're saying this could happen here. Don't think it can't. So, do you have a little power backup generator, battery, solar, anything? Batteries? You know, do you have your flashlights? Do you have your candles? Come on, y'all. That's all we're saying. Any of this stuff could happen. Just be prepared. Don't sleep. What did the Most High tell us? In case you sleep, don't worry. We're almost done. Don't worry, we're almost done. Look, Isaiah 33 and 6, easy scripture, clear as day. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of thy times. Not only the wisdom and the knowledge that are contained within the scriptures, but even within them scriptures, it tells us how to be wise and how to have knowledge and attribute that to our survival and stability during these times. So if you don't have any of the above that I mentioned, you better invest in something. Better invest in something. I don't care. Gas, a power generator, uh, solar power generator, solar power battery. Get you some flashlights and some batteries, some lamps. Get some a little propane stove. You never know. Make sure you got some things to make sure that you okay. Because when it's all said and done, hey, these people's gonna go crazy, and they're gonna be coming in trying to find out what you got, what you ain't got, and how you can. And you got to make sure you got something to back them down too. But that's for another time. That's for another time. All right. So we see what the migrants is doing. They're over there sewing their mouth shut. Um, Blackouts happening in Trinidad. 12 hours, man. They was without power. Didn't know what the hell was going on. They still don't know why it happened. We're seeing all of a sudden, banks are freezing up in Canada. Nobody knows what's happening. Cyber attacks happening in the Ukraine. The Cyber Polygon conference that they had last summer where they were talking about they were going to be doing exercises to test people's, to test out the grid and making sure how people are handling, internet outages and hackers and everything else. Now this stuff is starting to happen, and people are saying, "What? Well, how did that happen? Who knew?" False flags. Remember? So now, white man says he wants to do facial recognition to where he can have billions of people at his disposal. This is part of his God complex. In Sirach, where's it at in Sirach? Sirach 23:19. Okay. It says, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10 times, Shalakia, 10,000 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men and considering the most secret parts. That is reserved for the Most High. His eyes are 10 times brighter than the sun, beholding all the ways of men, considering their most secret parts. White man says, I have God-like power through my technology. That's why he's got the God complex. So here he is displaying and saying he's got facial recognition technology that they're getting ready to roll out on everybody. Look, you seen Minority Report? If you haven't, go see that. Facial recognition firm Clearview AI tells investors it's seeking massive expansion beyond law enforcement. Big Brother, 1984, all of that is real, coming to life. The facial recognition company Clearview AI is telling investors it is on track to have 100 billion facial photos in its database. I mean, there's only 7 billion people in the world. How can they have 100 billion? Because you know what? You got all the multi-millions of people on Facebook and on Instagram and on TikTok and on every other damn social media trap that they've got us all encased in. And that's where they get all of the pictures, all of the Google Clouds, all the pictures that everybody done took, and all of the iClouds. How else can they have 100 billion facial photos? There's only 7 billion people in the world. They've got more than enough. They're on track to have 100 billion facial photos in this database within a year. Enough to ensure almost everyone in the world will be identifiable. Hello. According to a financial presentation from December obtained by the Washington Post, those images equivalent to 14 photos for each of the 7 billion people on Earth would help power a surveillance system that has been used for arrest and criminal investigations by thousands of law enforcement and government agencies around the world. Big Brother is here, y'all. I'm not even going to go. I'm not going nowhere else. You see this. So you want to know what the Great Reset is more about? You want to know more about, building back better? You seeing it. Now they're instituting AI, facial recognition technology. They're already talking, they already had to institute the contact tracing apps and everything else that people bought into because they wanted to be safe. They didn't want to be around the infected. Huh? So we see it here. All those things that just opened up doors for this type of stuff right here. That's all they wanted. Get enough people to submit, enough people to comply, to give us authoritative power to pass these laws and these mandates and switch up the game on people. And then we're going to take full advantage of what's been opened up for us. See how that works? So let's move on. Payouts begin under Australia's jab injury claim scheme. Australia is paying people $1,000 to $20,000 for lost wages and expenses if they had a bad reaction to the jab, but they're making them jump through hoops and proof of all of this other madness in this quote complex to see if you qualify or they qualify. So and look at this. The health department figures show less than 1/10 of more than 10,000 people who registered interest with the federal government's no-fault indemnity scheme prior to its launch in December have so far submitted claims. 1/10 of 10,000 people who registered interest, once they rolled it out and said, have you seen them commercials? Have you experienced side effects from this particular drug? They had talking about talcum powder. If you got cancer from that, there's a big lawsuit. You seen them commercials. So they had a rollout saying, if you've been experiencing side effects from the jab, you may be entitled to compensation. Here, file with us. So they had 10,000 people all register. Then when they found out, oh, you're gonna have to show this, that, and the third, or there's all kind of hoops you got to jump through. You got to give us access to all this type of information. A lot of people backed down and was like, man, it ain't even worth it. These damn bastards trying to trap us into something else. So only a tenth of the people, went through with it. Look at this. So the vid jab claim scheme allows people to claim a one-off payment ranging from $1,000 to $20,000 for lost wages or other expenses if they suffer a bad reaction to the jab, provided they meet certain conditions, including have spent at least one night in the hospital. As of February 9th, Services Australia has received 861 claims, including death claims, under the scheme, and, quote, one claim has been paid, but 11 have already been withdrawn, a health department spokesman told newscom.au. 861 claims and only one got paid. The games continue. Meta agrees to pay $90 million to settle a lawsuit claiming it violated privacy by tracking users. Hello. Didn't we just get to seeing about the 100 billion people? Clearview is prepared to engage with facial recognition. Now you see why Facebook had to change their name. All the damn dirt that is under them. So now they're Meta. They got a $90 million settlement that they got to pay out because they've been tracking people after they logged off of Facebook. Yeah, well, guess what? The app is still tracking you. That's why, man, I have the Facebook. I have to stay in contact with my people and be accessible. But I don't mess around with this stuff. Okay? So the cat is out the bag. I remember they had a congressional hearing that they had. Zuckerberg was on there talking about, no, the apps don't trace you. We're fully committed to privacy and all that. Guess what? He lied. I mean, he's the devil. What do you expect? $90 million they got to pay out for tracking people using the app after people logged off. We just got through seeing last week, remember? If you were using Zoom on a Mac, the app will still have your microphone open, still listening to you and all of that. All these apps got back doors, man. That Esau is utilizing it to track, trace, and accumulate information. Look at this. Facebook employee caught in a sting video allegedly trying to prey on a teenage boy. More dirt under Facebook's nails. But they're going to say, oh, he wasn't employed with us anymore. I wonder why. A Facebook employee was allegedly captured on video saying he sent sexually explicit messages to a person he believed to be a 13-year-old boy. Jaron Miles, manager of community development at Facebook's parent company Meta. Manager of community development. I wonder if he has anything to do with community guidelines. I wonder if he has anything to do with, banning and shutting down posts and suspending accounts because he said something that they don't like. Meanwhile, he's over here messaging and sending explicit information to 13-year-olds. Boys at that. Goddamn sodomites, man, running and regulating every damn thing. But he got busted. A pedophile. Pedophile, as the damn English say. Pedophile. So he got busted. Jaron Miles, manager of community development at Facebook's parent company Meta, has reportedly been fired after getting caught in an amateur sting operation in which he shared sexually inappropriate messages with and tried to meet with a person he thought was a teenager. Miles said he had flirted with the boy online and considered meeting up with him at a hotel during a business trip in Columbus, Ohio, according to a video taken by a group of pedophile activists called Predator Catchers Indianapolis. Look at this madness, man. Unreal. Powerful storm is heading for the New York and Northeast. It's going to bring snow, flooding, tornadoes to 180 million people this weekend. 22,000 in Alabama are left without power after twisters barreled through the state overnight. See that? Again. I mean, people down south, they should be kind of used to that and be prepared to be without power. Some still aren't. Some still, wait for FEMA to come in, wait for the Red Cross, National Guard, wait for the government to come on in and save you. Some people say, heck no, I'm prepared. I'm ready to ride. Whatever. Most High got me if anything else fails. But shout out to my peoples over there on the East Coast, Midwest, down south. Y'all be safe because the Most High is about to send a tempest through. Heavy storm, 70-mile-an-hour winds, snow, ice, tornadoes. We still seeing extreme weather patterns are going on in the earth. All right, let's look at Isaiah 29:6. This is how the Most High visits anyone who's out of compliance with these scriptures. Thou shalt be visited of the Most High of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. So we see how the Most High rocks. When the Most High wants to visit a place, he's coming with thunder, great noise, earthquake, storms, tempests, fires, all of the above. That's how he gets down. So when we see headlines like this, know that that's the Most High visiting America and Babylon, man, leaving his mark on these places. Several tornadoes touched down in parts of Alabama on Thursday evening. They saw the roof of a gas station blown off and a home sliced in two by a tree. And they just had a big storm in the UK. The Most High ripped the damn top of the stadium off to let it be known. Hey, that was me. In case you wondering. A swath of heavy, wet snow is expected over northern Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, north central Missouri and Illinois, northern Indiana, southern Michigan. Heavy snow and strong winds will bring severely reduced visibility, hazardous travel conditions, and outages. It's unbelievable. Swaths of freezing rain and sleet likely in Missouri and Illinois, north central Indiana, northern Ohio. Overnight Thursday, the storm system will finally reach the East Coast and bring snow to New England. 50 million people are at risk for severe storms from Louisiana to Virginia, and more than 125 million Americans are in areas under a wind advisory. That's over half, that's damn near half of the country. Last one, man. Israel will never learn. Israel will never learn. Look, let me get a scripture on this real quick, man. Jeremiah 4. Jeremiah 4:22. For my people is foolish. They have not known me. They are Sodom's children, and they have none understanding. They are wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge. And Sodom means stupid. Bottom line. Let's just make sure we on one accord with that. Okay. Look, stupefied from or as if a drink tended to drink excessively, foolish, stupid. See, most I know what they're talking about. My people is foolish. They have not known me. They are Sodom, meaning stupid children, and they have none understanding. They're wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge, man. So look at these little young cats. Brooklyn gang members live large on more than $4 million in stolen vid unemployment funds. And what they do? They can't help but go online. Now, they supposed to be gangsters, right? Gangsters supposed to move in silence. You're not supposed to be entertaining cameras. You're not supposed to be showing your dirt for all to see. You're probably under some sort of gang file where the police got your name, got your faces, got all of that. They know you ain't got no damn job. They know you can't afford that Ferrari you just bought. They know that you've taken all these trips out of state now. So, Sada's children, man. And these cats, they got busted because they did a damn music video. as usual, talking and showing off all the stuff they got. Look at this. A group of Brooklyn gang members with ties to the drill rap scene turned the vid unemployment program into a quote bottomless ATM machine using stolen identities to score more than $4 million. Police and the Fed say cops caught wind of the fraud when members of the NYPD's Intelligence Bureau noticed that members of the Canarsie-based Wu Gang were making trips to California, renting houses, buying expensive cars, and posting on social media with stacks of cash at the beginning of the pandemic. Now they all busted. Last scripture, Ecclesiastes 2:16. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever. There is no remembrance of the wise more than of a fool forever. See, the fool is always going to be remembered for going out like a damn sucker and stupid. Seeing that which now is in the days to come shall all be forgotten. See, all this, that's out of here now. That's going to be forgotten. Everybody's going to talk about how dumb they was and how they got caught up. Look at this. And how died the wise man? As the fool. See, they thought they was wise with this scheme and scam of getting a bottomless ATM. You know, wise to do evil. A Jake know how to scheme. A Jake know how to hustle. A Jake know how to rob and get over and do all this other stuff. Had his whole ingenious plot. Stealing identities, filing for unemployment benefits, getting all these checks coming in. Oh, that was wise. Jake's was like, damn, they was coming up. Them dudes were smart. Really? Most I said, man, how they gonna die? As straight up fools. And they ain't gonna be remembered for the wise, anything wise that they did. They're gonna be remembered as damn fools, man, who lost it all. So, you know, in typical Jake fashion, wise to do evil, but to do good, they had no knowledge. There you have it. Uh yeah, good movie too. Keith. Eagle Eye. Very good movie. If y'all ain't seen that one, check it out. You know I'm always give y'all a little movie reference. Hopefully that'll get y'all through. You know, if you ain't got a place to congregate on the Shabbat, or you know, you got some spare time in between classes that you watch or what have you. Check out a good little movie on the Shabbat and the Sabbath that's gonna keep you whole. You know, but hey, it's that time. It's that time. Friday Night Lights has come to a conclusion, man. This is DSTM number 88. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High. We making it, y'all. We making it. Some of these bots keeping. I don't know. I'm missing them, but I'm gonna get them though. I'm gonna get them. It is what it is. Just lets me know I'm on the radar. But other than that, man, hopefully y'all got some edification tonight and enjoyed the DSTM. We'll be back live tomorrow at between 3:30, 4 o'clock for our closing Sabbath class. You know, prayerfully, man, y'all have a blessed night. Always remember, fear the Most High, keep the commandments, and don't ever shoot your messenger. I'm out, man. Shalom. Good night, y'all.